Hey guys, Dean Gravina here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how much does marketing cost. Now, it's a very common question that I get asked when I'm talking to friends, when I'm speaking in consultations. How much does it cost? And that's completely the wrong question. You should never ask how much anything costs, okay? Now, the better question to ask is, what's my potential returns? And what is, you got to ask yourself, what's your risk appetite? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to, it's not a cost, right? A cost is something like, that is sort of like, that you use up, right? Like, for me, you look at something like fuel. That's a cost, because you use up fuel, and it just basically gets you from one location to another, right? So basically, my opinion would be that you can't really look at marketing like that. You sort of have to look at marketing like, hey, this is a situation where you spend this sort of money and it's actually going to come back with more, right? So, I mean, it is, in theory, it is an expense and it is a cost, but you can't really look at it like, hey, I'm adding this to my business, because in most scenarios, as soon as you turn on the ads, after the first month that you've spent in ads, you typically, if you've set up a good campaign, obviously, you're going to make that money and break even, or you're going to make a profit out of that money. Now, basically, so that's what this video is about today. How much does marketing cost? And the second question really that I also get is how much do I need to spend to start? Okay, so my recommendation on any channel is if you're a local business or a brand new e-commerce shop, you want to be spending a minimum, and I say minimum, of $25 per day on each different channel. And sometimes I'll also spend $25 a day on each campaign, depending on the industry. So I'm just going to refer to the industries that I know. If you're in solar, what I just said won't apply. Okay, if you're a brand new solar company and you want to run a Google ad, you're going to have to look at spending anywhere from 50 to 100 per day just to even compete. If you are a photographer, you could probably get away with $25 per day, right? So the third thing is, how much does it cost? Is how much is the industry worth? Okay, so that's a completely other question. How much is your industry worth? How much money is going around in your industry? That's going to dictate not how much it's going to cost you, but how much does advertising cost in your industry? So that's the third thing that you really need to consider. And there's all these different, I could go on and on and on, but really look at your marketing like this. I'm going to spend this much, and this is how much I'm going to spend for the quarter, right? So if it's 25 a day, that's around 750 a month times 3. That's 2,250 approximately, if I've got my maths correct. And what do you need? How many jobs do you need to break even, to test if this is even going to work for your business? So if you're a photographer, you might just need one wedding to cover that. Well, that's amazing. If you're a buyer's agent, you might just need one client and you're in profit. If you're a solar company and you're spending 2,250 in 3 months, you just might need X amount of solar panels sold. So figure out, what's the timeline? How much can you afford to spend that's not going to put yourself as an individual and as a business in financial crisis? And spend that money and don't look back. And watch the rest of my course in relation to, setting your ads up, setting up your landing page. Refer to my other free YouTube videos. If you want to figure out how to do this yourself, I've got a very amazing course with it's going to be hundreds of modules of how to do this step by step. So another thing you also need to consider is how much do you have to pay someone to do it. And if you're completely starting out, just do it yourself. That's my recommendation. Do it yourself. You might not do it as good as someone like me, but at least you're starting, and you've actually, before you hire someone like me, you validate that this is actually going to work for you. Because the worst thing you could do right now is that if you haven't tested this yourself, or you may have tested this yourself and you haven't got the results, well, at least you've tried, and then you can then approach someone like me and say, hey Dean, I've tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got some sort of result, but I've tested it, and I know this can potentially work for my business. You don't want to hire someone like myself if you know this doesn't work, and you've tested it, and you've spent thousands of dollars, and it hasn't provided you any sort of results. So, in theory, marketing should be free, right? At the end of the day, marketing will be free for your business because it's going to pay itself off. So at the end of the day, how much does marketing cost? It's going to cost you nothing. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I would actually like to say it's costing you more by not doing marketing. It's going to cost you nothing to run it in the long term, but it's going to cost you more right now if you're not marketing your business. It's going to cost you. You got to think about how much it's costing you and how much revenue you're actually losing because you're not marketing. So that's actually what it's costing you. But in the long term, it's free. So thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon.